Good afternoon. Today is the 5th of February and this is Barron's Classic Car Auctions at Marchwood near Southampton. It's actually a bit quieter than normally it would be down by the docks. This is the February 2024 sale preview. I do apologise, my voice didn't sound normal. I have been ill recently, but I'm going to continue on even if I have been a bit sickly, and we shall look around and see what we can find. I do apologise in advance if I fall over, if I get things wrong, if I get interrupted by, I don't know, people wandering around. And wind noise, it's just the way that it goes on this channel. So the online catalogue is actually fully in operation today. Most of the cars have their lot numbers on, which is a lot more convenient for me. And we're going to go through in the order that they appear on the online catalogue. We're going to skip the first four lots, which are all motorcycles. I don't know anything about those, so we'll go straight for this 1989, Renault 5, or Super 5, this generation of 5 was known as. This car is only estimated at between £500 and £1,000. It's, well, cheap. Got the 1.4 Cléon Font engine in there. I think that's a glass coolant reservoir actually on that. Engine dates back to the 60s, I think, it was Renault 8, obviously heavily modified by 1989. There seems to be some problem with the carb from what I understand, or the fuel pump. Apparently it does crank, but there we go. Oh, it's an automatic one, this one. I can't remember necessarily whether these Renault 5 automatics had a trim level. I'd expect this to be like a GTL or something, but it looks a bit more basic than that to me. Maybe it's just called a 5 automatic. Yeah, weird old dash like they all had, no rev counter. I have driven a later version of this. It was a 5 Campus, it's 94. Yes, they made them until, I think, 95 for our market, because we didn't get the Mark 1 Twingo over here. Yeah, that's interesting. Could be worth a try if you want to get it running. Actually, it looks pretty solid, to be honest. It doesn't look rusty or anything. First of quite a number of very cheap classics for sale and some more expensive ones. Continuing on the theme, this is a 2006 NC Mazda MX-5. The estimate on this is only £1,000 to £2,000. Whoops. I almost fell over there, viewers, but I did not. Very early one, this one, 2006. I imagine this to be a 5-speed, yeah. It's amazing how good that interior looks for 2006. I have driven one of these. It was a much later one. It was a 2012 Sport Black, which was, I think, in 2021 I drove it. Again, it was local to here. This car's not been very far at all if it's got handy Southampton plates on it. Yeah, this car could actually have been supplied from the dealership that's less than a mile from my house. So there you go. It looks all right. I'll just check the description, see if there's anything to be aware of. I imagine this will go for a little bit more than that, actually. What does it say? Not very much. It was on a private plate and now it's back at the original one. That's why the plates look so good. 18 service intervals. Why on earth is this car this cheap? I mean, there's a bit of wear in that seat and things, but I mean, if you really want a new seat for an NCMX-5, you can have a new seat. Yeah, again, that does look worth a look. A bit more expensive, but not really that much more expensive, is this 2001 Jaguar XK8 Coupe. This thing's been in here for months, which is sad. It just shows the state of the classic car market when things like this don't immediately get sold. At Barron's you get 2 free re-entries, so a maximum of 3 auctions you can enter into without having to pay additional fees. But just take a look at it, because if I was in a different position in life, this would be the sort of thing we would like. Look at this beige leather interior with wood. Yep. Estimate starts at £2,500 and goes up to £3,500. 2 keys, original book pack, 12 service stamps, MOT. I mean, I don't know if it's any good particularly. I haven't driven it, so bear that in mind, but there we are. Something that a lot of you were quite interested in last time we were here was this 1989 Ford Escort Mark IV XR3i. Estimate on this is £3,500 to £5,000. Now, the car is not all original. There are a number of things on this which are not quite correct, but it's very solid. There are just a couple of bits missing in here, I think, that should be in the car. I'm not just talking about the radio. There are some other things that are sort of missing, like the spot lamps on the front, for example. But it depends how far you want to take something like this. Obviously, we're getting a new tyre, aren't we? Yeah, and those indicators I don't think are correct or anything. But, you know, fast forwards are a lot more expensive than that normally, aren't they? Something, again, that's really cheap is this Fiat 850. I'm just trying to look to see if it tells me what year this is. No, it doesn't even say. I imagine this will be about 68, something like that. It's from Guernsey, like the Renault 5. I don't know if this actually runs properly at the moment or anything. See if the door opens. It's only £800 for the estimate on this. Oh, there we go. The 850 Coupe, for me, is a bit more stylish than this saloon model, but when do you see these? You just don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember much about them, to be honest, other than the engine size. But there we go. Suppose some of you will be interested to see how this little thing does. So we're up to lot 110 now. A 1978 Chevrolet Corvette C3. Estimate £10,000 to £13,000. Looking at this paintwork, I think these are glass fibre, aren't they, the bodies on these? It do with a little bit of a clean. Yeah, your paint's all sort of, there you go, you can actually see it on camera, the paint's all kind of blistering a bit. It's probably why it's a little bit lower on the estimate. Let's take a look inside. Well, we could if the door opened. The door is locked, so we shall not take a look inside. Yeah, let's just check to see if there's anything else about this that you need to know. So, no, it's virtually nothing here. It was driven 25 miles to the venue. I imagine it probably was. Yeah, it's a shame there's nothing more to say about it. It's not quite for me. It's a bit sort of long, and the wheels on the other side, but some of you like that kind of stuff. Now, viewers, that's better. Lot number 111. A 1991 Bentley Turbo R. The only thing I'm slightly concerned about with this car is the suspension. In a moment, we'll take a look at a Bentley 8 that is fundamentally quite a similar car, but this one, it seems to be squatting down on the back. Don't know quite what's going on with that. I know it's a Citroen-like suspension system in this, and so it's not all conventional. But yeah, so it's recently had front springs. A bit unsure about that, viewers, to be honest. We'll take a look inside and see why somebody might like it. I mean, I like it. Because not only does it have a beige leather interior with wood, it's also got piping on it too. Having driven a Bentley 8, it's all very agreeable sitting in here, surrounded by abject and total luxury. Big slabs of wood on the door, lovely blue paintwork. I feel like I could sit in there as well. Little footrests. Estimate is, I think, £9,000 to £11,000 on this. That's very nice, isn't it, viewers? Very, very nice indeed. So hiding in the corner here, lot number 112, 87 Mercedes-Benz 420 SEC W126. I cannot believe this is estimate £5,000 to £6,500. This means these cars are sensible second-hand classics money, which it's, to me, just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. But there we go. Let's have a look so we can get the door open. Oh, look at the reward for doing so. A beige leather interior with wood. Looks really good. I can't see any rust on it. That's probably electric aerial. I don't know if that works. Yeah, it's a bit sort of tempting in here, really. There's so much tasty stuff for not a lot of money because of the state of the market at the moment. I'll even have a look at this description here. It says diamond blue metallic sandful leather interior, gearbox is rebuilt in 2021, mileage been traced to 2006. One of the Seabot butlers was replaced at 105,000 miles. It's on 127 August 2024 MOT. I've just worked out what the problem was. This is a write-off. It was written off in November 21. It was a category N note. It was a front wing and indicator. I mean, yeah. Problem is with this sort of stuff that I've just identified, it's not that valuable. So Mercedes-Benz parts are really expensive. But, you know, that loss is probably someone's gain. Look at this. 1966 Triumph TR4A. This is only estimated as £18,000 to £20,000 now. Not a perfect example. This is like the 4th month it's been here. Why this hasn't sold, I don't know. I mean, it is a bit rough for some of the bodywork, but then this is one of the cheapest TR4As in terms of the price. I've spoken to somebody who owns 2 of these cars, and this is quite low for something like this. But again, it's the state of the market. Hopefully, when I come back next month, this won't be here anymore. I'm also hoping that this Rover 3500 won't be here. This is 1974, like the Mercedes W126, estimate £5,000 to £7,000. It's been here a little while, actually. I don't know how many months. Got bubbles of rust on its stuff, but you know, really good ones of these are in excess of £10,000. So, you know, changing a bonnet, which is, you know, not that difficult. I mean, even changing, like, you know, front wing, rear wing, boot lids, that sort of stuff on these cars is pretty easy. So that's not a major concern. Looks like we've got a load of spares in here. And we've got the interior that's pretty nice as well. I do want to have a go in a 3500 P6. Unfortunately, I've not managed that yet. I think Mr. Richardson will let me have a go in his crazy modified example at some stage on the Furious Driving channel. Something also from the early 70s in Britain, but a bit more expensive, is this 71 Jensen Interceptor Mark III. This looks absolutely fantastic. The paint is really good on this car. So it's in very good overall condition. Can we get in? Yes. Just look at this. It's a bit dark for somebody like me. I prefer a lighter interior, but you could get lighter interior Interceptors, I think. It's depends what your taste is. Yeah, it's a very nice example and priced accordingly, 33 to £40,000. Again, because the market's so low at the moment, if you want something to enjoy for the summer, it's a good time to buy something like this. And I couldn't possibly afford that or to run it, but it's lovely, isn't it? Now, this is where things become a bit more interesting, shall we say, viewers. A 1992 Jaguar XJS 4-litre coupe. I prefer the 4 litres to the V12s for the simple reason that there's a very small chance you might be able to afford the fuel bills on one of these. The V12, I think, is beyond the reach of most people in that way. And look at this. A beige leather interior with wood. Look at that. Yeah, that is just amazing. My absolute favourites of the XJSs are a little bit later than this car. This is one of the slightly facelifted ones that came out in 1991. I have driven an immediately pre-facelift one, a V12 convertible, which is a 91. This is a slightly later one. It's got a different buttress design on the side. I think this is great. I would prefer something in green. I prefer something a little bit later, maybe in 1994, because they made a couple of changes, but I mean, this will do, won't it? And that's only £7,000 to £10,000. Just fantastic cars. Looks like the bodywork's good. It's not concours or anything, but this is the sort of way that I would personally go for an XJS if it were mine. Not like I can afford one. Look at this. 1936 Fordson van. That's in really nice condition. Estimates £10,000 to £12,000. Those basic seats known to man. Advertising, quite appropriately, a marine and leisure company in Chichester. Is going to do something about this windscreen, haven't you? That doesn't look too good, but the estimate on this car is only, I think, £10,000 to £13,000. Or sorry, van. It's not really my kind of thing. I mean, these require some skill to actually drive and own. But yeah, it's nice. Now we got some really tasty stuff here. Look at this. We'll come to that second Capri in a moment, but we'll look at this Mark 1 first. 1972 Ford Capri 3000 GT with the XLR pack on it. Guide price £14,000 to £16,000. It just, to me, sort of screams the early 70s. Got the matte black bonnet, vinyl roof. Got these, what are they? What type of wheels? I can't remember now. Bodywork's a little bit tatty. It's not perfect or anything. You can see maybe it does actually need some work. You could just have it like this. That wing is going to need some attention. There also is some mismatched paint, but that's why it's the estimate that it is. It isn't like 30 grand or something. Look at this. All the dials. Fairy dice. I much prefer something like a, there we go. That's all right, yeah. I much prefer a Mark III personally, like this one. But some of you, this will be the right kind of thing. You know, any Capri is a desirable car, and you could either run it around like that, or you could put some work and do it up at Free to Essex and that. Amazingly, there's no more information about the Capri listed, so we'll move on to the next car listed in the catalogue. Lot number 119, 2001, BMW 735i Sport Automatic. Imported from Hong Kong in 2017. And full history from Hong Kong. Car has done less than 11,000 miles since being imported. Estimate is both quite high for one of these, £79,000, but I don't think this is any ordinary 38. We've seen this before, haven't we? It's not really my kind of perfect interior combination of things. I much prefer these to the next generation of 7 Series, personally. I think it's very nice. It's not quite me particularly with this sort of trim and colour scheme, but yeah, it's good. I feel like I'm in Bewley. We're pretty close to Bewley here anyway, but 1923 Bean Tourer, lot number 120. This car is 101 years old. And it's wearing pretty well. Estimate this, £10,000 to £15,000. Pretty hard to value. I doubt there are many of these around. Doesn't look too difficult to change the plugs on that, does it, viewers? Not really. Just a very, very charming thing. Battery lives down there. Some newsletters from the Bean Car Club. One of the numerous makes of car that, you know, died at some point before the Second World War. Either you're sort of really into this stuff or you're not. I mean, I don't know where to start with something like this, but I'm delighted to see this for sale here. Now this is more like it. Lot number 121, a 1980 Ford Capri 3 litre S. It is the correct sort of age for many of the Capris that were used in the professionals, particularly the ones used in Series 4 that were meant to look as if they were 1980 cars, even if they were maybe a little bit earlier than that. I think the ones used in the 4th Series. Car check interior, twin exhausts, rear wiper. Let's take a look inside. Got the 4-speed manual in this one. It's a bit early for the 5-speed. Yes, fishnet Recaros. Full instrument cluster. Nice steering wheel. If you're as familiar with professionals as I am, and I'm exceptionally familiar with them, I've visited most of the locations used in the series, actually. There's a group of us who go and do that. Then you'll appreciate this a lot. Brakes on these are quite bad, actually, having driven a Mark III Capri. And you have to drive them quite hard to get the most out of them. But that is just absolutely glorious. Now that Capri is estimated at £21,000 to £25,000. A lot less is this very, very late Mark II Transit. It's an 86, one of the very last made. Factory for them at the time was in Swafling, which is the other side of Southampton. It's very, very near to the airport, which it closed in 2013. So, yeah, this has come back to almost where it was built. And it's in quite nice condition. There's a little few spots of rust at the bottom of the door. But you just don't see these. I mean, this actually looks really good. Back in the day, my mother was a lecturer in geography. She used to actually take minibus versions of these, the Mark II facelift transits, on field courses and things like that. I suspect many of you would have travelled in the back of one of these if they were a minibus. This has got the very sort of austere 80s style dash in it. There's just no luxury in this whatsoever. Someone sensibly put a different radio in it as well, which is good. All you get on the dash is a little thing that tells you where the gears are down there, and a heater and nothing else. Choke on this, but it's wonderful. Sort of makes me feel very nostalgic. Makes me feel like I'm maybe 6-7 years old seeing something like this. I imagine this back of it's been renewed at some point. Yeah, I mean, it's not cosmetically perfect, but you know, it's a commercial vehicle. Maybe it doesn't need to be. Yeah, £9,000 to £11,000. It's done 98,000. Something a bit more expensive than a Transit. Lot number 123, 1970 Jaguar E-Type Series 2 Roadster. Guide price £55,000 to £65,000. Again, an old friend. Poor old friend still stuck in here, not sold yet. Left-hand drive, imported from the United States of America. I have driven recently a Series 3 E-Type, would be in the channel soon, but this is the one in between the two I've driven. I drove a Series 1 4 years ago. And yes, I mean, I do like them. I think this would be a little bit easier in some respects than a Series 1 because you get the optional power steering in these. Bare metal restoration on this car done a few years ago, so it's in fantastic condition. Another car that's been here a while, 66 Ford Mustang notchback. Guide price £20,000 to £23,000. Bit of work done today. Again, I think we're just the sort of general trend of the market here, where this one is just a bit cheaper than it otherwise would be. Hopefully it sells this time. Now this is delightful views, lot number 125. It's called an 87 and 88 simultaneously for some reason, this one. So it's one of the other, isn't it? So let's take a look at the plate. Yeah, it could be either. It's an E. Relatively late for an 8, I think they finished, was it 89 they finished? This will be the fuel injection one. The one I drove last year was a 1986 that was still on carbs. Paint's not perfect on this. You can see actually there's bits where it doesn't quite match. But the estimate on this is not very high. £6,500 to £8,500. Thing is, though, it's got a lovely interior. Yes, look at this, viewers. It's even better than the other one. We've got this dark wood, green piping, green on the dash. It's delightful. Now, perhaps the Turbo R overall is better, but I just have a hankering for green cars. I love the way the doors open and shut. HRO and supplied this one, very well known Rolls-Royce and Bentley dealer, and I listened to that. That was fantastic. If only every classic car door open and shut like that. Been upgraded to the later headlamps, I think. Originally, it would have had just 2 headlamps. It's now got the later quad headlamps, if you see what I mean. And the grille, I think, is a bit later one. Quite a common modification. But there we go. It depends what you want, doesn't it, really? More cheap modern classics. 2003 BMW E46 330 CIM Sport Convertible. Having just done a video on an E46 which had this engine in it, I can tell you that they are nice to drive. This isn't my favourite type of E46. I prefer the touring, but it's pretty good. So it's an automatic. Estimate on this is only £2,000 to £3,000. I'm not really that keen on all the black highlights on it, but you might be your sort of thing. Again, I think this is a good time of year to buy something like this. That's going to go up in value as the weather gets warmer. Look at this here. This is unusual. 1999 Land Rover Discovery 2, and someone's even put a Series 2 badge on it. I don't know if that's correct or not. It's an ES with a 3.9 V8 in it. Estimate of £5,000 to £7,000. There can't be many of these around. Surely not. Most of the time I can't talk about these because they have the wrong engine in the views, but this one has the right engine. Good old trusty Rover V8. It might not be open because we're outside. It's locked, isn't it? Nice spec. I mean, they weren't certainly the best cars ever made, these. They were supposed to be a lot better than the Series 1s. Interesting. 1996 Porsche 911 Targa Tiptronic S. Still here, and estimate between £42,000–47,000. This must be the sort of longest standing car that's been around the auction house. I'm sure it's like at least 9 months it's been here. It just shows you what's happened to Porsche 911 prices. I love the 993 Porsche 911s. I think they're a really, really good generation of them. It's just such a shame that this one just doesn't even found a home. And it just keeps sitting here. And hopefully I won't be here again the next time I come. Lot number 129, this poor old Renault Aventime. Still here. They're so rare, these cars, and this one's only estimate £2,500 to £3,500. This is its second re-entry. I mean, it could do with a bit of a clean, this car. Bodywork's not perfect, but they're supposedly quite desirable, interesting cars. So why somebody hasn't actually bought this one, I don't know. It's a bit of a shame. Probably locked. Oh no. Oh, viewers, it's open. Oh, we got dihedral door action. Yes. Bit creaky. Look at this. It's a 2-litre turbo manual, this one. It was quite a sort of pointless car in a way. It's sort of like in a Spas, but the coupe version, I think, is the way I'd describe it. Massive window. So yeah, if you want your coupes as practical and slightly weird, then that's the car for you. Isn't that amazing? I managed to get in it after all this time. So, a 2003 Golf V5 automatic, 65,000 miles from new. V5 is an interesting spec. You could obviously get the 6-cylinder Golf as well, the R32 above this. I think that's locked. It looks really straight and presentable. Amazingly, these cars are the same price, or the same guide price. This is also £2,500–3,500 £3,500. I know that that's a lot more predictable. It's an unusual version of the Golf. I don't know what the best choice would be. I mean, that's really fascinating. That's less fascinating, but there we go. Last car, this has just come in actually. It's a 1988 XJS V12 convertible automatic, and it's in very, very different condition from the red one. It needs, you know, a lot of things sorting out. You can see down there, and some the other side, the wings, it's not good, chassis is not the best. That interior is probably not great considering we've had a collapse of the roof. That's going to need throwing away. Yeah, it's described as a restoration project. Estimate is £2,000 to £4,000. I am not brave enough to attempt something like that. I think I know which one I prefer, but some pit view might be. I've driven a V12 convertible. They are sort of fun. Is this door open? No. Never mind. I think half the gear stick's missing as well. That's really strange. Anyway, not all the stuff actually is around for sale. This Thunderbird's not on the auction. It looks nice though. But thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like this video, comment below. And we shall see you again very soon for some more incorrect information.